live, everybody. But we're also on tape. We are deep down in the bowels of Leafs music. Episode 70.
70, that's right.
Anything
Absolutely.
70?
Wow, it was a sad day. Sad year, actually, 1970. That's when Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix departed.
All the 27 Club.
Yeah, they were the first two members of the 27 Club. So, yeah, that was 1970. 1970 was a tough year, eh? You know, it was the Manson trial was on. Kent State, 4 students were killed with the National Guard during the Vietnamese protest. So there's a lot of...
was it Jim Morrison, 27? Who was all the 27s?
Yeah, he died the next year, 71, on July 3rd, 71.
He was also 27, though?
He was 27. Amy Winehouse, Jim Morrison,
Kurt
Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin. There's a bunch.
That's wild.
It's bizarre, eh?
Wild.
Yeah.
Our show today could be one of the all-timers. We didn't plan this. I know, the salacious media, right? You're going to bring Dale Bass and Reid Jackson on at the same. We didn't plan this.
No, we didn't.
We went down our list, and in fact, Dale wasn't even supposed to be on today.
Dale should have been on a week before or after because Kelly Hall. She was supposed to be on today. But
because Mike switched.
Well, Mike switched with
Mike O'Reilly switched
with Kelly Hall, but Dale was still slotted.
Okay, we planned the whole thing.
We planned the whole thing, and everything's a hoax, and there's no COVID.
And yesterday was a crazy day for media and with City Council. Reid Jackson recused himself from an entire council meeting, which is kind of unheard of. Yeah,
it's unusual, but I think, like we were talking last night, I think some members of the media and public on social media went way overboard to think this was something on par with, like, some kind of scandal. It's unusual, but it's not that big a deal in that there's only two things that are unusual here. He recused himself from the whole meeting. Usually when you recuse yourself, recuse is a fancy word to say excuse myself from the meeting, it's because of a potential conflict of interest.
And usually money.
No, it can be money. It could be other stuff too.
Right.
It's governed by Section 100 of the Community Charter. The Community Charter is the provincial legislation that governs city councils. It used to be called the Local Government Act. So Section 100 of the Community Charter says, if a council member, a mayor or a councillor, believes they may be in conflict of interest with something on the agenda, and it's up to them to decide whether they are. No one else can tell them they are, and they can, but are not obligated to seek legal advice on it. So it's up to them to say, I think I'm in a conflict. What he did, and Section 100-1 says, when you think you are, you have to declare it, and you're supposed to say generally what the conflict is. So he didn't say what the conflict is, which led to all this craziness on social media where people thinking the world's falling apart. So the only thing is, he recused himself of the whole meeting, which is weird. We can ask him about that. Because usually when they declare, they say, on this next, Mr. Mayor, on this next item, I'm in conflict because I own property next to this place. They step out. Council does their thing, they finish it, the next item comes up, the guy comes back in, and they start the thing. That's the weird thing.
Sadie, Hunter, Arjun Singh, among the crowd of many, saying there's no reason to miss the whole meeting.
No, but as far as we know, we were pretty sure the issue at heart here is anything to do with discussions about social agencies that run shelters, in particular the Ask Wellness Society, because, of course, Reid Jackson, the mayor, and his lawyer are in a long-standing battle with the lawyer and the CEO, Bob Hughes, of Ask Wellness Society. If people don't know it, real quickly, Ask Wellness is one of a few groups in town that run supportive housing and shelters. Reid Jackson, before he even ran for mayor, during the campaign, to the media, to us, and to others, he's been very critical, as have others, about the shelter operators. And he's been calling for an independent third-party review of the operators of the shelters because he believes that while shelters are needed, he believes some operators, including CMHA and Ask Wellness, aren't doing a good enough job, and they need to improve the job so that the shelter don't negatively impact the neighborhoods around him. You can agree or disagree with that,
right?
But that's what he's been calling for.
I guess the big deal, though, is you can't just keep recusing yourself from full council meetings. Well, if there's anything remotely close to this going on.
And that's up to the individual councillor or mayor to determine what they think is a conflict. And you're right, once they get the resolve, there won't be a conflict anymore. Bob Hughes told us in last week's newspaper that he's not he has no intention of suing Reid or the city. He just wants Reid to stop what he believes to be slandering him.
And now Hamer Jackson wants a retraction from that, though.
Yeah,
apparently. So we'll get into that with
Their
Reid.
two lawyers are going back at each other. There's more letters we got last week, and it's just an ongoing war. But you're right. He can't recuse himself from every single thing. But with that issue, it does touch the tentacles go far and wide. We can ask him why he did what he did. The big thing, though, is he didn't say why he was recusing himself. Mike O'Reilly recused himself earlier this year because he's the CEO of Comet Industries, and council was about to give a development permit to land Comet owns up by Iron Mask. Obviously, Mike benefits from that so he says, I got to leave. I'm the CEO. This is about our land. He leaves. Next item comes up, they come back in. They were talking about tree bylaws last night. They were talking about other developments. Reid Hamer Jackson could have easily sat in on those ones. So I don't know. We'll see what he has to say.
Yes. Okay. Let's move on for a second. Holiday Bears, really quick. Don't have too much time to get into this, but
Yep. Yeah. Check out the newspaper. There's a list of businesses in town. You go, you shop local, you support the economy as interest rates rise again today, 4.25%, and you enter to win these Holiday Bears.
Another interest rate hike.
Well, depending on when your mortgage is up for renewal, it's either huge news or it doesn't matter for another 3, 4, 5 years.
Okay, we don't have time to talk about that, but we do have time to talk about
Look at this.
Mike Miltimore and a brand new Mike Miltimore cam that we can debut right now.
Hey, here we are.
So now people can see who we're talking to all the time.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Okay, what did you win, Mike? You were everywhere on Monday.
Oh man, you know what? It's amazing. It's a win for small town Canada. It's a win for Kamloops. It's a win for BC. It's a win for Canada for best acoustic guitar of the year 2022. And it's what you try to do as a guitar maker.
This is global.
Global.
This is through the magazine that was founded not long after Canada became a country. What was it?
1879.
That's right, and that was only actually it was a decade later. What's the name of the magazine again?
MMR magazine, so Music Merchandise Review, and it's the industry voice. They look at trends, they look at past history, they look at things going on in the future, new products, and they try to be the voice and the information place for the music industry.
I listened to you on NL because you were everywhere, CFJC, NL, Kamloops this week, everywhere, and I got a little choked up because you got a little choked up talking about your parents. Why did you talk about them in that moment?
You know, right before the press release started, my mom and dad sent me a letter and said, "Can you read this?" And it was basically one of those "I'm proud of you" letters, and I'm even getting choked up right now about it. But you know, we've worked our entire lives in the music industry. My dad started it in 1974 with basically $2,000 of bad parts he got from somebody, and just worked and clawed, went through the 83 tumultuous high interest rate time, and I had a great childhood, but it was full of a lot of work. I worked at the music store, you know, and to see this happen is one of those moments, because we used to look at this magazine when I was a teenager.
Yeah, that's really cool.
A little update too, you're smoking busy.
Oh man, you know, it's...
Yeah, what happened after the big news came out?
So the big news came out, people started coming out of the woodwork, wanting to know more about the guitars, wanting to talk about distribution, and worldwide. This was a big announcement. This is the first time a Canadian company has won this award. But since then, we've had our busiest day of sales ever, and it's still, while you guys were talking, 2 more sales just rolled in.
Wow.
And I need to get some HR counseling in for the guys, because they're all like wide-eyed going to...
You can't lose Greg DeGords now.
No, he's busy.
Well, we love doing the show with you, and we can't do the show without our sponsors. Congratulations again. I do want to mention, this is maybe different than what you're supposed to do. I think you don't normally acknowledge when a sponsor is leaving, but I don't really care what the traditional format is. I do want to thank, because New Leaf is taking a break from, and we do have a new sponsor coming in, so it makes it easier to announce, but I do want to legitimately thank Herman Hothe and New Leaf Produce Market for being with us for more than a year. Like, honestly, we can't do this show unless we pay you, and because the company won't let us do the show if we're just, pissing money away. So we need sponsors, and they basically have been with us from the start. So we couldn't do this show, which I love. Re-energized my whole
Bless you, Greg,
work feeling. Greg, can you not sneeze, okay? It's my big speech. Without them, we probably wouldn't be here. So I want to thank Herman and New Leaf Produce Market for everything that they've done for us over the past year plus. Okay, thank Thank you. And also, welcoming a new sponsor for our new segment, which debuts today, Reader's Digest, with Kamloops Mayor Reid Jackson, brought to you by Cold Control Mechanical. Now, Mike, you had a hand in brokering this deal.
Well, not really. This is... Oh boy! Okay, here,
Got the
here we
mic
go.
cam going on. There we go.
So, not really brokering the deal, but basically, I had a problem with my furnace, and this is how good and big of a stand-up guy Vinny is at Cold Control Mechanical. He came into my house because he does stuff with us commercially. He doesn't normally do residential. He came in and he looked at it, and he could have sold me a furnace. He could have done whatever he needed to do, but he said, "Look, honestly, your furnace has a warrantable issue. I think you should go talk to these guys." And he put me onto them. I sent him the quote, and I said, "What do you think?" He said, "It looks great. I can't do that because I don't do residential so much, but you should go with those guys."
Right.
Like, who does that?
That is what they're all about, too. Trustworthy, reliable, and like you said, mostly commercial. They don't want to do Teddy's hot water tank most of the time. They want to do commercial, like Red Tomato Pie. They do all their gas fitting. They do HVAC, heating and cooling systems.
So that's a good pizza, man. They should be on our show.
Red Tomato Pie should be sponsoring this show,
It's
too.
the best pizza in town.
They should
And I'm not
sponsor
saying
the
that
Miltimore.
We should have it tested. Yeah.
they're not even a sponsor, and I've had pizza there, and it's so good.
It is. Thanks for coming on board. Our show, there's still room for more. We're growing 318 subscribers as of, it's probably 319 by now, the last 5 minutes. We probably got another. Email klw@kamloopsthisweek.com if you want to come on board. Like New Leaf was, McDonald's is,
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
and Gord's and Cold Control Mechanical. And I know the three of us, we were busy last weekend, weren't we, Mike?
Oh, yeah, super busy. Just trying to find something to do. We were kind of bored out of our minds, and you know.
I think we went to the trampoline place in town.
Yes, yeah, and I bought those brand new Lululemon pants because I thought it'd be a lot better for being able to do like the flips and stuff like that. But it was funny because what happened with Chris.
Well, that's right, because as you were, those pants gives you extra elasticity and bounce. And
Yeah.
remember, you came down, and you're much heavier than me, and I bounced
Wow.
up, and I hit that pipe, and remember the steam came out, so we had to call Cold Control to come in and fix their pipes.
And the great thing was, because you were knocked out when you
Yeah,
hit that
I
pipe,
hit- I hit
right?
it hard, yeah,
And you didn't
yeah.
come down on a trampoline.
No.
But luckily, what you came down
On
on?
a Sealy mattress.
A Sealy
That's
mattress.
right.
Sealy mattress.
That's
And
right.
Gord's Appliance and
Amazing.
Mattress Center.
Yeah, that was
Because
fortuitous.
the trampoline place uses Sealy mattresses to stop people from doing those crazy high bounces.
That's right.
Because it's the one that doesn't hurt.
Yes.
Well, generally on a trampoline, I think you want those crazy high bounces. So
how
that's
do
a
you
weird
stop?
feature.
How do you stop like guys like me,
That's-
where I
that's right.
hit the pipe
Right.
that Cold
And
Control had to fix?
even though you landed on that Sealy, you were still a bit dazed. So
Yeah.
what did I do? I just took an extra large McDonald's coffee.
Got me all better. It was like
And I
basically reverse the concussion.
dumped the hot
They should
coffee.
use this in the NFL because it does wonders.
It does.
It was great. It was like the whole Stanley Cup dump, right?
Yeah, with hot coffee. Everyone was cheering. And
No,
Sealy
the
mattress
caffeine
got-
didn't wake him up, but the hot temperature of the not too hot, but
No,
warm,
the perfect
nice,
temperature.
perfect temperature McDonald's coffee.
And it wasn't really like wasting because they're only $1.
And lattes are only $2.
It's amazing. Gord's Appliance and Mattress Center, by the way, they're hiring. They're hiring not only a strong, powerful human, a hulkamaniac, to deliver their goods, they're also hiring a salesperson. So check out Gord's, Greg. And Dale Bass is going to join us now. She is a Kamloops City Councilor. I'm sure she has opinions on what happened yesterday. And we want to focus on the new car 40 and ask her about some of the positive
Other
things
issues,
that are
yeah,
going on as
issues,
well.
how things are going after a month, that kind of thing. Yep.
Yeah, okay, we'll bring her on right now. It's in Above the Folds, and it's brought to you by Gord's Appliance and Mattress Center. Don't want the 9-hour cycle, please! Freaking $500 hydro bill, piece of trash. I need to speak to Gord on the 9er.
Hey, no, I'm actually Steve, the new owner.
First things first, pal, you should probably update your sign. Number 2, my dishwasher is tangled again. The 9-hour cycle, hydro bill through the roof. You guys don't fix appliances, I know that, so I need a new one.
We actually do fix appliances, but if you want, I can try some new ones first and have a look. You got a price in mind?
Money is not an obstacle for me.
Money's definitely an obstacle. He's the cheapest guy in Kamloops. Ain't that right, Darby?
Well, this here is going to be your Cadillac model, top of the line. This is our middle-of-the-road dishwasher, just a great dishwasher at a great price. This is our budget-friendly model, still a great dishwasher, just at a bit of a lower price. price doesn't work for me. Let's see if we can fix mine at home. Alrighty then. There you go. Seems to be good. How's the fridge working?
The fridge is fine, Gord.
It's Steve.
Above the Folds with Dale Bass. Dale, how was your day yesterday?
It was a lovely day. I had a wonderful time.
How was the council
We had a great council meeting. Our council meeting was awesome. We had a great report. We praised Mike Miltimore. You know, it was short, thank God. It was
I feel like
short.
some more things happened. I mean, why did the mayor recuse himself?
You're going to have to ask him. You know, he came in, started the meeting, said he had a conflict of interest, and left.
What do you make of the decision?
Well, you know, that's not how we do conflicts of interest. I mean, I had a conflict of interest, non-pecuniary one, early in the term, and I just went and waited in the other part of the building until it was done. You don't normally walk out on a whole meeting, but, you know, you'd have to ask the mayor why he did it. It's unusual, put it that way.
What concerns you about it?
Probably the way the media is dealing with it right now. You know, like, for example, a CBC reporter tweeted today that he had been contacted by a BC mayor and he was going to go public on being wrongly accused about something. And we all kind of held our breath this morning thinking, oh, God, no. But it was the West Vancouver mayor, yeah, who's been sanctioned by the law. Yeah.
A lot of councils have a lot of issues around
Yeah.
BC. I think this was, every council has issues, but I don't think Kamloops is anywhere near the level of Vancouver, Surrey,
Oh, no.
or Rob Ford's Toronto back in the day.
Oh, no.
But I think what's confusing a lot of people is why he left the whole thing
Yeah.
and went home and watched it on.
Yeah.
Now, we understand there was, right before the meeting, the regular meeting, there was an in-camera meeting.
Yeah, we have closed meetings.
Closed meetings
most
that you can't
Tuesdays.
talk about because it's land,
Yeah.
legal, or personnel, or whatever. So
Yeah.
you can't tell us here what that was about. I understand that, but you can tell us who was in the meeting.
No, I can't.
Okay, and as far as I know, actually you can.
No, I can't.
Isn't that odd though that the mayor
Wasn't in
Wasn't in
that
there?
meeting.
Well,
now I don't want to get you in
let
trouble.
her answer that
no,
one. I
but
mean-
wasn't it odd that the mayor wasn't in a meeting that was a closed meeting of council? That's where this all goes back to.
well, I can't talk about that.
Yeah.
Because if I tell you anything, it will reveal things that I cannot reveal until we agree to bring it out of closed.
So what we have here is the mayor, Reid Hamer-Jackson, suddenly declared a conflict of interest at the start of the public meeting.
Yes.
Didn't say why, which you normally do, and then left.
Yes.
But behind all this, there was a meeting right before that meeting, and as Maria Mazzota, the city corporate officer, told Michael Potestio, our reporter, that further complicating stuff is when you have a closed meeting, there's usually a little bit of time between the closed meeting and the city council meeting, the regular one where people can get their heads sorted out. As I understand it, this closed meeting was followed immediately by the regular meeting. There was no time to sort things out, and that could have contributed to all this confusion.
We had 9 minutes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and usually you have much more, she told us.
Well, yeah, sometimes we do, sometimes we don't.
Yeah.
It depends on what's on the closed agenda.
Yes, so
Can we assume this is a one-off thing?
Ask him.
I mean, if it isn't, how does that affect his ability to lead on social issues if you can't talk about them?
Ask him.
and I think it's safe to say, and I'm not asking you to reveal anything because I don't want to get you in trouble, I think it's obvious, and it's pretty obvious, that the closed meeting had to do, if the mayor wasn't at the meeting, and we know he wasn't, obviously that meeting had to do with something involving the mayor and legal issues, and maybe Ask Wellness. I'm just putting it out there.
How is morale behind the scenes with council?
It's a great council. It really is. Really good insights, really good questions. Everyone's participating. We're rapidly becoming a united team. It's a really good council.
Can you talk to us about Car 40? It's not called that anymore. That's something you have worked very hard on.
Yeah.
Can you tell us the updated version and just expand on it?
Well, we talked about it yesterday in the council meeting. IHA has agreed to hire 2 more nurses, and the police are going to provide 2 more officers, and the city will provide 2 more cars. It will run 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. One of the issues with Car 40 is and again, it's largely words matter, right? Is people seem to think that it applies only to street entrenched people who are causing problems and have mental health issues. But there are so many people who use Car 40. And I'm really happy they changed the name from Car 40 because it sounds like a police car, right?
Yeah.
To an intervention crisis team, which is much more inclusive language.
It's also very sanitized language. I like the old name better. I hate when they go to this because it gets so sanitized it means nothing after the fact. But before we go on, quickly, because some people watch this. My brothers watch this from North Vancouver, and I have people in Edmonton watching. They don't know what Car 40 is. Real quick.
All right. So it's an officer and a mental health nurse in a police car who go to situations that really don't need to be policed as much as they need to be handled mental health wise.
Mental health calls that aren't necessarily criminal calls, but people need help.
Yeah. And something that most people don't know is that the nurses and the officers do follow-ups.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I spent some time with a Car 40 a couple of years ago. I spent a day with them, and they track people. They make, they refer them. They make sure they're going.
Mm-hmm.
They do an enormous amount of stuff.
Saves lives.
Oh, yeah, it saves lives. And I have friends who have, family members who have issues. Well, Councillor Beppel talked about her own issue yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really valuable. It's a great thing.
For you, are these the type of things that give you gratification and why you do this? Because this is something that you really had worked on for you and many other people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This when people ask me why I was running again, I said, well, because I got to get things done that didn't get done in this term, and that was one of them. Complex care beds is another one, and we're moving forward on that as well. The sobering center is another one, but we're not anywhere near that one yet.
No.
Thanks to the province.
No, that's actually been a part of 3 different superintendents who want that thing at the RCMP.
Yeah.
So, switching gears a bit, the mayor has said he's going to be like Santa Claus and deliver task forces in time for Christmas. What's the latest on the task forces?
We were advised by Maria Mazzotta, our corporate officer, yesterday, that the community charter does not allow him to create task forces. He can we select committees and things like that. So we did have a meeting of we all got together last week to at least set the committees.
Okay.
And we talked about the task forces that he wants to create, but I pointed out that we have engagement groups already doing a lot of work. We have a history of them and subcommittees, and maybe he should wait and see what they do before he tries to, well, the way I put it is, why remake the car when you don't know what the car looks like,
I think it's wording again, because I think
wording,
when he says task force, I think what he might mean is what already exists is subcommittees, select committees that look at more specific and focused areas, and they're only there for a short time, and then they go and do something else, as opposed to the committees that exist in perpetuity.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself being of use most in those types of task forces?
Well, because I did community services already. I asked if I could do development and sustainability, so I have that committee and finance. So those are my issues.
Good.
Yeah, and I'm really involved in some housing issues right now. So I think that, and I don't want to be the person who is always doing community service stuff.
Okay.
When I was at the start of the last term in 2018, I had to run out at night, always working at night, and I was covering a cadet thing. Cadets were having awards. They wanted some pictures taken. I thought I'll go and help them out. So I took some pictures and talked to the kids. Mayor Ken Christian was there. He came in and talked, and then afterwards we talked outside. It was winter, and he was just setting up the committees.
Yeah.
And he said, I said, how's it going with the committees? That was when you left the paper and you were on the. So he was asking how Dale's doing. I said, well, I was asking how Dale's doing, and he said his intention at first is to appoint the councillors to committees that they might not want, sort of like what I did with some beats at work. You get them out of the comfort zone, so that and then afterwards you go back to your passion. Do you like that approach?
Yeah, and we're actually a lot of the counselors have done that. They've said, I really don't know anything about this.
You learn more. You become more broadly, knowledge. That's good.
And so that's really good. And I haven't done DES yet, so zoning and all that stuff will be really, really good to learn about.
Has your working relationship with the mayor improved? Because it started with this whole apology thing back and forth.
Oh, yeah, we talk.
Has that been settled?
We talk.
That's like a non-answer right there.
I've become a politician. No, we talk. Like he asked me to be deputy mayor in January. He still hasn't done that yet, but he's going to get that schedule done as well. We talk.
we just see on like the comments that I'll ask you one question about it. It's like the little clown faces show up on like it's devolving into a circus. Sometimes people are worried about that. Like, are you worried about this potentially with some of the relationships devolving into like to a big circus?
No, it's a good council.
Okay.
Really good council. They're not afraid to ask hard questions and dumb questions, that, because they don't know and they want to learn. And we're all getting along so well. I'm even getting along with Kelly. Okay.
Yeah, we heard that.
Yeah. It's really good. And Mike and Bill and I. We know the game, so we can sort of help them. And Nancy knows how the game used to be as well. And I call it a game, but it really isn't, except it does have rules, and you do play with it a bit. But it's a really, really good council.
I don't want to sensationalize it, but it's a question that I think that's a fair question. I mean, with all this stuff that's happened in the first month. Anyway, we can switch gears on that.
Sure.
Leave us with a ray of light, another ray of light, something that you're excited about that's coming up that you can be involved in on council.
Well, we've got 4 complex care beds that are going to be opening up very soon in the city. Of our 20, we're getting 20, but we've got 4 that are going to be opening really soon, which is good. That's going to help save lives, right?
Yeah.
I'm really happy with that. We have a much better relationship with IHA than we had last term.
Good.
Thanks to Lisa. ZZ, that's all I know, her last name, wonderful person to work with. I really like working with her. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so no, it's going to be a good term. It really is. This nonsense and craziness from yesterday will go away.
Yeah.
There's a learning curve here.
Yeah.
And for the mayor, maybe it's more like this right now.
Yeah.
Because he's never done anything
It's only been 4 meetings, right? So,
Yeah.
Are you going to get the tax hike down? Are you just going to stay at 6% and bankrupt us all, or are you going to get it down to 2% like God intended?
There's a reason why I quit. No, if you want services, you got to pay for them.
Yeah, it's true.
And the supply chain increases that you're feeling are completely different than what we're feeling. Like we buy a lot of big vehicles, and they're costing a hell of a lot more now.
I think Mike O'Reilly was on, and he said something as simple as PVC pipe is like it's crazy. So,
it's crazy. It's crazy wild, and then you can't get it also with a lot of stuff. So if you want, you want a safe city, and we want to hire 25 more police, got to pay for them.
Yeah, well, that's why those hard discussions have to be made. Some people may think we don't need 25 more police, or maybe we don't need this many more firefighters. Maybe we don't need wage hikes, which you can't do anything about. But anyway, the big thing is right now it's December. The assessments are coming up, and that's going to have a big impact on whether your taxes go up, because it's based on the average increase. Last year's 27%.
Yep.
We'll see how that plays out in January.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and actually, you won't really know until April when we get the BC assessment roll.
Right.
But if you want to have a good city, you're going to have to pay for a good city. Kind of like if you want to have a good house, you're going to have to pay for a good house.
Yeah.
Okay, Dale, thank you.
Well, it's nice to be back with you guys.
Christmas plans, red wine, maybe a little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Not going anywhere.
Not going anywhere.
Just going to stay home. Just veg out.
Okay.
I like having my own time now.
Okay.
Take a second mortgage out for the turkey because the costs are going through the roof. All right. Let's do it.
Okay. Thanks for
Times
being
are
with us,
great.
Dale. That was
Yeah.
fun. The first ever Reader's Digest brought to you by Coal Control Mechanical. What do you think about that video?
Good.
You know the guys from Coal Control, Vinny and Dustin? I think you might know Dustin.
I think so, yeah. I think so.
Okay, so you're going to join us the first of every month to do this. What do you want to get out of this segment with us?
This segment here?
Yeah,
Like go
joining us
forward,
for
every
one-
month
what-
you come on, you agreed to do it. What do you hope to achieve through appearing monthly on our show?
I guess people to get to know who I am and things like that. Maybe a little bit about what I've been up to and that kind of thing.
That's our intent too, eh? Just a little bit what's going on with council, with the mayor, all that kind of stuff.
Casual-
It was his idea.
Yeah, I thought a casual conversation with the mayor, and you can update us on things that are going on, and it worked out pretty well for us.
The
because
timing was pretty good, yes.
Things happened yesterday,
And I went to Paul Lake last night, so I didn't have cell, so I didn't get to talk to a whole lot of
Okay.
people.
Yeah, okay. Well, now you can talk to, we got lots of viewers, lots of people. We have people on social media saying, I can't wait to watch Kevin's last week tomorrow with Marty and Chris to find out what's really going on yesterday's meeting. Let's quickly set it up. Yesterday's council meeting, it began. You declared that you have a conflict, which is not unusual. A lot of people have conflicts, but normally they recuse themselves for that part of the meeting and come back and then continue on. But you recused yourself from the entire meeting and apparently left City Hall. Explain to the viewers what happened there. What are we missing?
Well, I think it started with my first council meeting, and I'm not going to be, I don't think that I should be able to be having to sit in meetings and not be able to say anything. The first meeting that we had, on the agenda was a delegation coming that had just sent a letter to from a lawyer to City Hall. Didn't even send it to me; he sent it to City Hall, and with that letter, we sent another letter back, expecting to get a retraction or facts.
We're talking here about Ask Wellness Society.
Well, you can't say that.
I could say that because I'm not part of this.
Okay, I
but
can't say that.
we've reported on it. Ask Wellness Society, the CEO Bob Hughes, they hired a lawyer from Fulton to send your lawyer David McMillan a letter saying that they believe your comments prior to the election and during the campaign, criticizing them. They believe it was defamatory. Your lawyer David McMillan, who called me on the weekend, he said, actually, we disagree. So it's been back and forth. We don't think we've done anything wrong. We think you've done something wrong.
And we're not trying to get him in trouble here.
No,
He can't talk about it.
No,
but
we
can talk about
it's
it.
in the newspaper.
Yeah.
So we're just saying that. And the first meeting that you presided as mayor, Bob Hughes from Ask Wellness Society appeared just to go a review of what they're doing. They had a discussion. And then we come 4 meetings later to yesterday. And then you recused yourself, so that's people are wondering. They're asking me, well, why did he recuse himself?
Why from the whole meeting?
Yeah, and that's what we're asking now. Yeah.
Well, again, that's why I'm kind of going back a little bit, because at that time, the letter had been sent to the city, and then after given to me, but the lawyer from the city deemed it to be a personal issue.
Right.
So it didn't have anything to do with city business. But I still couldn't say the name in the first meeting, other than the inaugural meeting. So so I'm sitting there and I can't say anything. I can't say somebody's name. I can't say a company name. I did ask one question at the end because the councillors asked that. So then yesterday morning, all of a sudden, I'm meeting with Dave Trowan, and apparently there's a 10-page letter drawn up from the city lawyer, and I'm going to be in, I'm going to have to recuse myself from this meeting, which...
This closed meeting.
Well, the closed meeting, the closed meeting I wasn't a part of. They had a 2-hour meeting without me. I'm sitting in my office, everybody's having a meeting.
Do you know what that in-camera meeting was about?
Well, no, I was.
You weren't allowed to attend this meeting.
I was the only one not allowed in there.
You weren't in this meeting.
Well, how do you feel about that?
Well, it felt like crap. I mean, you're sitting there and, you got all your council and all the directors and everybody, and they're sitting in there for 2 hours talking about something that I felt, well, actually the city lawyer indicated wasn't city business, but then all of a sudden it became city business, and I don't even know why at the beginning, because when the letter did come out, it had my name, and then it did have Mayor Heyman Jackson on it also. But also a lot of mayors, that I've talked to, they go over the agenda like 2 weeks before time. So, in this agenda, there was 26 pages of documents of where I have a lot of questions to ask. As a matter of fact, I've been working on the file since I, was elected or got inaugurated, and we're actually, was an old grant that we're actually getting money back from the old grant because BC Housing stopped paying for security, and there's a lot of things in there that I've got a lot of questions. So for me to sit there for 26 pages and not be able to say anything or comment, what was the point? Like it should have been. I feel it should have been postponed for when I could actually comment or
Once
discuss.
it's resolved
Yes.
between the legal entities there. But when this
Right.
when this in camera meeting, closed door meeting before yesterday's council meeting was happening, you were not allowed in there. You don't know what that was about.
Dale Bass is
Like
throwing
officially, you don't know what that we're talking about. Dale Bass was here earlier. They can't tell us what was happening legally. But the fact that you weren't allowed in would lead anyone to common sense to know that this meeting was something about you.
Yeah, Dave Troman said earlier that morning that and again, I got to look at, but I couldn't have a copy of a 10-page document that the city of Kamloops' lawyer was drafting up, and that morning is when he told me that they're having a closed council meeting, and there was 2 items on it, and I wasn't privy to one. And again, the meeting went on for 2 hours long. I mean, they even had a lunch break. I'm sitting in my office, and everybody walks by me, and they can't talk to me or nothing like that.
So obviously, they're talking
felt like
about
I was
something to do
felt
with
like
you.
I was in jail.
But the critics still say, why not just recuse yourself for the one part and come back and do the rest of the meeting?
Well, I didn't feel the whole agenda. I wasn't going to approve on my end of things. I'm sure everybody else might have, but I wasn't going to, because, and not only that, like I said, I had there's another item on there where a friend was looking for a variance, and so I would have had to recuse myself there. And you know what? We got a great council, and I talked to Bill Sarai about it before, and the great council, he handled the meeting really well, and they're very capable. And I just felt being in conflict, and again, this would have been, other than the inaugural meeting, this would have been the third one, and out of the three, I've got to sit there and not be able to ask questions when again, I've been asking questions about this file for a long time. Matter of fact, since February 2021. But anyways, and here we are. We're getting money back for the taxpayers of Kamloops to use for something else, and it's provincial and federal money. It's the UBCM.
Who's the family friend that you had to
I don't know if
steer
I should
clear
be
of?
able- I don't know if I should say
don't know
that,
if you
yeah.
can say it.
Well, so you had to recuse yourself because of the social housing discussions, because of the deal with Ask Wellness. We get that. You had to recuse yourself because there was a variance permit with a family friend that you felt was a conflict, which is but there's a lot of other stuff on the agenda.
Well, there was only, I think, 6 other items, wasn't there, on there?
And well, there was
Yeah.
tree bylaw, and there was some
Yeah.
other stuff. You could have sat in with that.
Yeah, I guess I could have, but at that, but I didn't want to disrupt things, and like I said, we got a good council. They did that job good, and I just felt that there was too much in there for me to
Participate.
How much
to go back
longer-
and forth. I would have disrupted the meeting. As a matter of fact, like I said, I was expecting that 26-page document when I'd left the office, when I'd left the room and recused myself. I would have expected that to be another 2-hour meeting, because that's a big file. There's a lot of money in that file, and money that we've got to capture, because if we don't change things in that, then the taxpayers of Kamloops are going to be paying for a whack of security, a whack of this, a whack of that, right? And so I just don't know why did we need it on the, if I was the mayor and had the choice, I wouldn't have been putting it on the agenda yesterday. I would have moved it to the time when we get either a retraction or a claim.
Or in simpler terms, when that whole the legal fight is over between you.
Is that
Yeah.
is this a one-off thing? Because you obviously can't keep recusing yourself from these meetings all the time.
No, that's right. Yeah.
How long is it going to go on for, right?
Well, I'm waiting any day. I mean, maybe if I get on the phone, maybe my lawyer got a letter from.
Well, he
individual.
called me on the weekend, and he sent us the latest letter, but he hasn't heard back from their lawyer at Fulton.
Yeah, we did send him another one.
Yeah.
On a matter of fact, on Kamloops this week, I think he forgot to tell Michael Patessio that there was another letter.
Yeah.
Which
Well, we're still waiting. They're still waiting for a letter from Scott.
Yeah,
down
but
at
I think that
Fulton.
individual did an interview with Michael, but he forgot to mention that we've sent him another letter because we'd like to resolve it.
That's right. Like Bob Hughes didn't mention that. That's why.
What's his name?
That's why David McMillan, your lawyer, called me on Saturday while I was cleaning bathrooms, and he said, "I read the story. I got some more information." I said, "Okay, I'll get Michael to call you." Michael calls you. But that's inside baseball stuff.
what's it going to take to heal the relationship with this person?
Yes.
I want to be able to say his name. I mean, like I said, I've supported that individual and the organization since 2012 when he walked into my office and said, the old rendezvous, it's going to be a shelter for women and children fleeing violence. There's going to be nurses 24/7 with IH. It's going to be a thing of beauty. I've supported it. When they opened the Mission Manor, I donated to a van. Michael put in there a van. I donated to a van because I donated part of that van to pack people, to drive people to appointments and stuff from the Mission Manor. Again, I mean, when our relationship went south was when I asked him how much money he made. And I didn't even care to know how much money he made. I just asked him how much you make, and he wouldn't tell me. He said, well, I get this, I get paid from this. I said, sir, I'm not asking because I want to know how much money you make. I'm just asking, how would you like it if I just walked up and took 10 grand out of your pocket, took 1,500? He goes, what are you talking about? I said, well, that's what you did to me. When you told me that was going to be a shelter for women and children fleeing violence, it's been nothing but the opposite. I've never seen a child come up, and I got 95 police files over it,
So that has impacted your business financially, big time. The CMHA runs that though. Back in the day.
Well, back in the day,
Yeah, because people
he was
online.
the project manager for CMHA.
Okay.
Yeah, in building that project.
Switch gears. Task forces, how are they coming along?
They're coming. We're getting close.
Give us a sneak preview. Can you
Well-
Can you give us an idea of maybe one of the task forces and who might be on it?
Well, I don't even know it now. Now, I just got a text from Stephen Carpuck, and we might have to call them something different. Okay,
yeah,
they might have to be called something different. Yeah,
like a
but we've
select
met.
committee or something.
We met the other night with. I've met with all the councillors, and we all got everybody's. We're probably going to be sending an email to them all here in the next couple of days, but we're still working on, like, we got the committees, but we're still going to work on the task force because that's more of a short-term thing. And we've got some pretty good, people that have stepped up that want to be a part of it.
I'm guessing you've taken some time to analyze the people that you have at your disposal on council, figure out their strengths and where you want to put them. So someone like Kelly Hall, where do you think he would be fit in well on one of these task forces with his skill set that he has?
He's where he wants to be.
Which is?
I'm not sure. I don't have anything.
Oh,
for
but
him.
he's on a committee.
Yeah,
Or
everybody. I got all the councillors involved. I get this is something that the mayor's supposed to do, but I've got everybody involved because I think some of the committees, if people aren't interested in what they're doing, it's not going to be as effective, right? So I've got we've got a pretty good pick of people that are doing.
So you took input from them and then okay.
For these task force or select committees or whatever, these short-term committees, whatever you want to call them, that have a laser focus on an issue, have you received or have you solicited any input from people outside of council, community members?
Oh yeah, we've received lots. Yeah,
So
we've done a lot of interviewing.
The
of a
general
lot of people.
population,
Yeah.
they want help on certain. I want to help with this, this, and this. Okay.
Yeah.
So
And
you're gonna have,
some pretty big players too.
Yeah,
Like people I can't mention the name right now because they're
Right.
checking to see if
but
everything's
they'll be on a
okay.
housing file or a crime file or whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just had a little run-in with Dale Bass as she was leaving, you were coming in. How's that relationship?
That relationship is, well, in my mind, it's good because she's apologized to me. She said she didn't want to do it publicly, but she said that I could, so that's why I'm.
You were
saying-
seeking an apology from Dale Bass because, for the viewers who don't know.
From day one, from November of, and because you were part of it.
Yes, I'm just asking you to
But
explain to the
anyways,
viewers.
but anyway, when I was trying to start or get, Dennis Walsh was putting a motion forward to do a recovery facility on the outskirts of town. I don't want to mention where.
Yeah.
But anyway, and it was not mandatory. It was not. It was people that I'd spoken to on the streets.
Idea to get them away from temptations.
To do a recovery.
Clean 'em up
facility,
in the rural area.
To do recovery facility, and she said, which you know what she said. She said that
She went on the
I was
radio
trying
station.
to radio, and she went with
What'd
you.
she call it?
Rounding people up, fence them off, and put them in concentration camps.
Concentration camp. And that upset you.
It would not upset me. It affected me. I've had threats and stuff
Okay.
like that. Like,
Yeah.
it's not something I had to call my buddy in Winnipeg and say, hey, if somebody, he's a juice fella, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He says, if that happened and you're in a you got 300 people around you all with mental health and addiction problems and somebody knew that, it's not like I haven't had enough chances to get stabbed or shot.
So you asked her to apologize for referring to it as a concentration camp, which you thought was offensive, and that affected your life. And she said, I'm not going to apologize for the longest time. But you just said now, you just broke the news. When did she apologize to you?
She apologized to me the other day, last week.
Oh, okay.
Well, this is
that's
mending
good.
fences. We're moving forward. That's good.
So it's all kumbaya now over the council meeting. That's
We've
good.
kind of grilled you, asked a bunch of questions, but what's on your mind? Anything you want to talk about that's top of mind for you? That you think the people might want to know? Okay, what's up?
Well, I'm just not gonna. I ran on accountability. I ran on a safe and secure community, and that's what I'm sticking to. I didn't change my goals, and they're goals. People say I made promises. I didn't make any promises. They're all goals, and I'm going to continue to do that. But again, I don't feel that sitting in council meetings and not being able to mention people's names or ask questions and all that stuff, just because one individual wants to send letters to the staff and everybody else. I'm not going to just sit around and we need to make some changes. I mean, we've got to make some changes. I mean, we can keep petting everybody and congratulating everybody for doing a great job, but it's kind of like when you're struggling, you need to.
Are you worried that it could kind of turn into a circus, though, if this stuff doesn't go away quickly? Does it have potential to become this big circus?
Well, you mean the lawsuit?
Well, yeah, just I mean,
That's what
if it drags
this
on.
is all, like I said, he publicly in your newspaper, he said, not
I have no
gonna be said-
intention of suing.
Yeah, but
That's what he said.
that's publicly. But we want the letter from the lawyer that sent the document. So again, and you know what? The other thing too is, I mean, we got 100,000 people why are we talking about one or two social agencies? We got a lot of other stuff to do here, okay? So I don't think that they're going to be able to get on every agenda, on every second agenda. So and I really believe that once we start working together as a team, I believe that I'm entitled to look at a agenda prior to, like 2 weeks ahead of time. Like I talk to some mayors, 2 weeks ahead of time, they know what's going on the agenda, and they go there and they, well, no, let's not do this, let's do this, and they talk about it.
Before
like
it's
I
released
said,
publicly
yeah,
on
well,
the
like
Friday
I said,
before, yeah.
like I said, why would we a file that I've already been working on since day one? Why would we be putting it on the agenda? 26 pages. Like, do you really think that anybody had a chance to really go over those 26 pages?
I don't know. I don't know what they did on the weekend.
Me neither.
No.
We're not going to see you until January 4th. So Christmas plans, what you got going on?
Not sure.
Family
got
stuff?
Got
Any
lots of
family
work
stuff?
to do here in Kamloops, but typically we usually go to Mexico. But I'm just feeling things out right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Depends if I'm recruised for many more meetings. Maybe I'll have, I don't
Do you
know.
guys have a tradition, like family tradition, turkey? Do you cook turkey?
No,
No?
I don't cook.
When you go to Mexico, where do you go?
We usually go to Cabo.
Cabo, eh?
Yeah.
You have turkey down there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have turkey and beef and stuff like that. Yeah, all that good stuff. How about you?
Well, I just stay home. I can't go to Cabo. I just stay home and shop local.
See, when I went to Cabo when it started when my kids were young, because it was a lot less money. Because
I was there in '96.
My wife used to go to the before the Christmas music started in the malls.
Oh, yeah.
She was already buying Christmas presents.
Oh, okay,
so
yeah.
when you go to Mexico, you can only put so many gifts on the plane, right? You just go out on the beach and buy a gift, and then you're done.
Yeah, you get some trinkets.
And a gift card.
Back then it only took $2,000 to fly the whole
I know.
family down.
I know.
Flew 5 of us there and back.
I know, now it's crazy. I know.
Out
Yeah.
of Seattle.
I got a nice little chessboard when I was down there. You know those marble chessboards? You go
Yeah.
to the market. Really, I still got it from Cabo.
Magic Mike, the mayor was congratulating you on your award.
Yep.
Yeah, congratulations. We should be talking about that, not me. I mean,
It's on the front page of the paper, and we just spent 10 minutes talking about it earlier today. He's got a lot of accolades, this guy. He's a media whore, this guy.
Any questions for the mayor?
You know what? I don't have any questions other than don't forget about the arts, and we really want to make sure that Kamloops continues to punch above its weight in terms of music, like we did in the 90s. The hip-hop scene was huge. We had a really good punk rock scene, and we need to support our youth in be able to do that kind of a thing. So
and let's go big, with federal and provincial money. Huh?
I'm all in.
Okay,
Yeah.
me too. Okay.
Reader's Digest #1 in the books. Thanks a lot for joining us. That was fun.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Hi, what can I get for you today?
Our coffee's only $1 right now?
Mediums and smalls, yes.
Oh, what a deal that is. I'll get 2 medium coffee, both with 2 cream, and that's only in Kamloops and Merritt, right?
I don't know, but, oh, yes.
Yes, it is. And the best part is, too, when you buy those coffees, you're shopping local.
Yes.
Yes. Have a great day today. Thank you.
Okay, that'll be 210.
Okay, bye.
I think we had a firecracker of a show today.
Good show. Good show. Municipal politics is always interesting.
Weigh in on Reid's interview. What stands out?
Well, I think we wanted to know, because a lot of people wanted to know. The basic question is why did he recuse himself? What was the issue, and why did he not come back for the other parts of the agenda? And those are the salient questions, and we asked them over and over, and he answered.
What did you think about his explanation?
Well, I thought he should have been there for the rest of the meeting. I think the mayor has a presence that should be there. I know Bill Sarai did a great job. That's what Dale said and Reid said. And Reid said they have a very capable council. But the mayor is the ambassador of the city. He's the person he or she is the person who runs the meetings and has a presence there. And on top of that, it's the 4th meeting of the term for a rookie mayor who's never been in politics. I think every single minute you spend there running a meeting is valuable, and I think he should have went into the ante room there and then came back. It just shows a commitment to the council. I'm not saying he took off and went and golfed or went bowling or whatever. He said he went and watched the rest of the meeting online, but I think
he could have explained him. Maybe he'll learn from that. If he just would have explained it like he did, saying family variance,
and that's what you're supposed to do under the community charter. You declare your conflict, and you say generally here's why, and then you leave until that conflict is over.
Yeah.
And it could have been very simple.
Yeah, and I think that he probably should have been there.
Yeah.
I also think that it's going to play just fine with his base when he says, I don't want to waste my time with this stuff too. Like I at the end he said, I campaigned on the fact that I want to get out there and basically get stuff done, not sit around.
Yeah.
And what did he actually miss at the end of the day?
Well, it's like we were saying, it's one of the shortest meetings I can recall this year. There wasn't a hell of a lot of really important stuff on it. Even Dale Bass said I think they got it done in like 90 minutes or something, which is astonishing. So I guess if he had to pick a meeting to recuse himself up totally, this would be the one.
And make no mistake, it does become a problem if he continually has to recuse himself from social issues at all the time, right?
Well, him and his lawyer, Reid Jackson and his lawyer, have to sort it out with Bob Hughes and the Ask Wellness lawyer down at Fulton Scott and his lawyer David. They have to get together and sort this out because until they do, this kind of stuff will probably keep going. Mm-hmm. And it's a legal pissing match that they have to settle either through a lawsuit or through retraction or through an apology from Reid, whatever. It has to be settled because social housing and Ask Wellness is deeply tied to city matters, and like you say, it's not the last time it'll be on the agenda.
It looks like we had somewhat of a mending of fences there with Apology Gate. We'll see if that plays out anymore.
Well, we'll see what happens because I think he told us for the first time publicly that Councillor Dale Bass apologized to him for those comments. We'll find out what Dale Bass thinks about his revealing that she apologized to him because it wasn't a public apology. Well, now it is.
Final thoughts on the Magic Cam here? Magic Mirror? What do we want to call
Got
this?
to turn on that right camera there, yeah. So,
Magic Mirror.
I think today was a great show. I think it's really interesting having the mayor talk candidly like that. And there were some sparks here today, but I think it was great.
When you hear him talk at length, does it change the way you think about him, or?
No, one thing that Mayor Hammer Jackson is very consistent, kind of a thing. So that's today is what I expected.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, congrats again, Mike, on the award, and to everybody at Riversong Guitars. Thanks again for the last time to Herman Hothe and New Leaf Produce Market for all of their support over the year plus actually, and to Cold Control Mechanical for hopping in New Leaf's stead and sponsoring this show for the next 6 episodes, and they have the naming rights to Reader's Digest, brought to you by Cold Control Mechanical, and we always love McDonald's.
Ba, 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 ba.
And Gord's Appliance and Mattress Center. For Chris, for Greg, happy birthday to Greg the engineer, we forgot to say.
Yes. 27.
27. Oh, no. Is he actually?
He's 27.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay. For Chris, for Greg the engineer, for Magic Mike, for Bill, I'm Marty. We'll see you last week.
Last week.